then bam, there we are.
There we go. All right, you can hear me just fine?
Yes, sir.
All right, just got this well, I've had this microphone for a long time, but I finally just got an audio interface. Hopefully I don't disturb it while I touch it. But it's like an M audio. It's pretty nice, like two line in and I think it's not bad. It's one of the first audio interfaces I've had. I should say it's not one of the first audio interfaces. I've had a couple different ones, but this is a little bit cheaper as far as some of them can get pretty expensive. So I went kind of middle road, something that would sound better than just using my laptop because I was using my laptop for my audio pretty much up until today.
Yeah, I was listening to your last. I think it was last one with Neil. You guys were talking about that. You're like, oh, hey, I got one. I might as well use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So you sounds like you listened to a couple of them so far.
Yeah, I travel a lot for work, oil field and stuff. So in the morning when it's like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, there ain't nothing good on the radio. I've already heard all my music, so I'm like, I'm gonna see what the race guys are talking about, man. Might as well keep up
Cool,
with them.
cool. Thanks
So
for I like the feedback.
absolutely, yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, I've actually learned quite a bit of stuff just from listening. Like listening to Neil talk, listening to you talk about equipment and stuff. It's you just grab a little bit here, a little bit there, and you start throwing it all into a package, and it starts working.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it. So this is episode 114, EricSwahnRacing.com podcast, number 114 with Nick Konsella. So thanks for coming on and talking to me for an hour or so.
Absolutely, glad to be here, man. Thank you.
And I got no bullet points. We're just gonna shoot the shit, see what's going on. You're a local guy. You're in Bel Air, Michigan. I'm over in
Yeah,
Sterling
yep.
Heights, so not too far away.
No, not too bad. That's like a 3.5 hour drive.
I mean, we're not neighbors, but same state.
No. Yeah, I do a lot of work down your area too.
Very good.
Surprisingly, oil field, love it.
And sounds like you are a racer yourself, so I want to get your story and talk about your sponsors and your racing history and riding and all that.
Absolutely, man. Heck yeah. Um, I guess I'll just let you have it then. Basically, from Kalkaska, Michigan, Rapid City, Michigan area. It's been like a dream to just even own a crotch rocket my whole life. Like as a kid, I was riding my pedal bike and they'd fly past me. I'd be like, "Oh, I got a Batman button. I can turn my bike into a rocket." And, start pedaling on. And so then I, grew up obviously and got some money and bought my first bike was a Kawasaki 650, like a '09 650. And back then I had no idea anything about motorcycles, engines, anything. I was a kid with some money and bought that. And I was like, yeah, 650 is faster than 600. It's got 50 more CC. No, they're dogs. But yeah, got into that. Was riding street riding for years. Got into the stunting and stuff for a little bit, and then up in Traverse City, the cops don't really find that too fond of ripping wheelies downtown. So that got me in some trouble. I was like, all right, well, I gotta do something different here. So I picked up my Aprilia. Was it 2 years ago now? I picked that up my first 1,000. I was like, yeah, I gotta be with the big dogs, and I'll try doing this. And my buddy Josh got me to start talking about the track. He's like, we gotta go to this track, man, and it'd be a lot better. We won't get in trouble, and so on and so forth. Now we've been at the track for a year now, I think. So it's been going really good in that Aprilia. Whew, man, I was gonna get a ZX10. I walked in there in the Fox Power Sports of Grand Rapids with all intentions of buying a KRT ZX10. I'm like, that's what I want. I've seen it. I've done all the follow ups on it. It looks great. I walked in there. I seen the Aprilia, and I was like, can you start that for me? I just want to hear it real fast. As soon as he started, man, I was like, yep, I'll take it. He's like, no, let's go with Kawasaki. So I know what that Kawasaki does. I don't know what this does. I want to take this.
Hell yeah. And so how's that bike been treating you?
I mean, phenomenal, man. Absolutely. If I could suggest a motorcycle for anybody who's already riding 1000s, I would say Aprilia all day. They are more expensive to work on. They got their different tweaks and twerks to them compared, it's a V4 instead of an inline four. So it's a lot more bassier. I feel it's a lot more power in the lower ends, but still it carries that power from the low end all the way to the top end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I laid it down last race we had at Grattan. Laid it down every single day. Unfortunately, just pushing myself beyond my own limits, what it was, and grabbing too much front brake and this and that. But it's held up amazingly for being laid down 3 times at 80 plus mile an hour.
And so it sounds like the bike crashes well. How are you faring? How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous, man. Like I said, it was the practice day was the first one I laid it down. That was just grabbing too much front brake, low side off of turn 3, I think it was. And the first day, second race, it was me and Billy Billy, but Billy Ball, sorry.
Billy Ball, yeah.
And, yeah, Billy Ball, me and him were going neck to neck to neck, man. It was insane. Absolute hands down best race, best ride I've ever done in my life for sure. And it was we're going through the S turns. I can't remember what numbers they are, but he was going wide and I was trying to cut him inside and I ended up just giving it too much, not keeping my bike up enough and eating it right there.
Too much
And then
lean angle.
yeah, oh yeah, way too much lean angle. I just recently started touching knee this year. So like in the beginning of the year, Billy was actually teaching me how to be faster, which is funny. So I started touching knee and I was like, oh man, that's great. So like I gotta do it all the time. And thinking that I had to keep the bike lean with me when that's the exact opposite I found out.
So you were too upright on the motorcycle. You weren't leaning off enough and having too much
yeah,
lean angle.
absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So I thought I was touching my knee, I was good enough, but no, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, so actually, I've been getting into bikes a lot this year again, in a big way, doing a lot of track days and a lot of corner marshal weekends and things like that. And I don't drag my knee nearly as much as I did before, I think, because it's like it's not important.
Right.
You can go around the corner really fast and not even touch your knee. A lot of times you have to eventually start bringing them up and closer to the fairings so that you can have actually that um, the maximum lean angle sometimes, because your knee be in the way if it's all the way down.
Absolutely. See, and that's what I'm just now starting to realize. I feel like, like I said, I just started touching knees. So then I went through a pair of boots and a pair of knee sliders. I'm like, holy smokes, like this is gonna be expensive, man. Like, how do I? But now I'm realizing that I can get the same speed with better angle and just keep my body, my knees off the ground rather than trying to use them as a balance point.
Yeah. I mean, some people use their feet on the ground a lot. That's a style, but
Yeah.
it has a place.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like you're talking about like throwing the leg out to the side and stuff,
Yeah,
like touching down.
using the Fred Flintstone style, dragging
Yeah.
your feet on the ground.
What's wild is I've been trying to follow up on that, like trying to figure out why they do it and what does it cause and stuff. So this weekend I went for a ride with a bunch of homeboys just on the streets and stuff, and I was like just testing the theory, come up to a corner. I was like, wonder if I throw my leg out, what's it doing? It was like mind blowing, night and day difference to me. I realized how much of a drag it puts on you and how you can just like it slows you down, use your front brakes, hold back, and then when you come to your turn, you just pick your foot back up and dive right into it.
Yep, and they talk about actually weighting your foot pegs, and it looks like, well, their foot's off the foot peg. They're
Right.
not weighting it at all. But when they get ready for the corner, their foot's back on that foot peg, and it's not dangling anymore. And I'd say the majority of their weight is on that foot, the inside foot peg.
Oh, I
Once
would
you
say
actually get into the corner, it helps turn the bike, weighting your foot pegs. Um, and also the outside of the tank, putting your knee into that groove there for the tank is really helpful. And
yep.
but you're not really sitting down on the bike. People say, "Oh, you're just sitting down on a motorcycle, right?" That's not
No, man,
very
you're dancing
physical.
on that thing.
You're wrestling a 400-pound machine around a racetrack at hopefully, the limits of physics, depending on your skill level.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with the little time I've been doing this for, like that was my second race, and I got a first place in a couple seconds. So I was like, I'm trying to keep it, stay humble. Like it was not luck, it was definitely skill, but it was definitely beyond my normal skill pattern. If it wasn't for being able to chase Eric Smith, Jeff Tate, Billy Ball, and Foster, and all them guys and Neil and stuff, I would be nowhere I'm at right now. It
Yeah.
was just the get the because my first race we did in the beginning of the year at Grattan, I got lapped by everybody, and then I got a free. It's like, what was I doing wrong? How did I go from a 140 to hitting a 122? Like that's insane.
That's awesome lap time. I would even go as far to say that that's not a novice lap time.
Right. That's what I want. Well, like I said, I'm staying humble. I know I was fast, but the reason I was fast because Billy was right on my ass the entire time. And it was the adrenaline rush and for second race, whatever. So
It
I'm
sounds
just
like it's
hoping.
probably your home track, so you're more comfortable with
Oh,
Grattan. You've probably done a lot of laps at Grattan, and maybe if you go to a new track that you haven't been to, you might not pick it up as quickly. But just stay within your limits, no matter where you go. Usually, if it's a new track, I try to take it easy for the first little while because
yeah.
you just gotta soak it all in. And they say when you sleep on it, it really does help. So I think that's really important too. Is just have a calm day on Friday, come out with a shiny bike. I mean, you still want to be pushing, but don't be reckless with it. Don't be going 121%. That's
Right. No, not like
stupid,
race day. Yeah. No. I mean, it was just. I think a lot I had to do with it is I had a lot of family there. I had a lot of friends there, and like the entire time. It was like it was more of a dream to myself. Like if go racing was a dream. Then I'm racing. Now winning first place is a dream. It's like I'm making small milestones and achieving them. But that was definitely reckless riding. I'll say at least for
Just
sure.
riding over your head a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's talking my front. I don't do that. Normal people don't do that. I can see like sliding your ass end off and grabbing too much throttle or something, but I don't. I'm really hard on the brakes too, coming into the straightaway. You're coming off straightaway in turn one. They're basically doing a stop the entire way into it and cramming out. But and the bus stop was never a problem for me. And then just every single race, it was like my weakest point right there. I'm like, what is going on here? But then I'm forgetting all my normal stuff I do. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, gotta go.
So it sounds like you're fast, but you have to be a little bit more smooth on some of the points, which is the hardest thing to do. I mean, being able to just feel what the bike is telling you and listen to it and understand that if you push the front a little too hard here, it's like you can possibly go through that corner much quicker if you were smoother through it. Like you can go up to the limit of 100% smoothly and sometimes go to 102, 103% and still be on the bike and bring it back. But if you get up to that 103% abruptly, cracking open the throttle, or it sounds like your case, maybe too much on the brakes or too much lean angle, or if you're trailing off, it's like you can be on the brakes 100%, but not 100% of the way through the corner. At some point, you're going to have to let off or you're going to overload the tire. So it's just understanding what that limit is, and it just takes time sometimes.
Oh yeah, I would say I'd need a lot more seat time. That's for sure. Like I'm very green to this sport still, and it's like as I'm learning all this stuff as we're racing. So as soon as I park my bike, I got my crew there. My best friends and family friends and stuff. They take the bike, put the wire warmers on. Let me worry about just strictly riding and stuff. And I'm in everybody's paddock, listen to everything. Like what's this, what's that, what's this, and that's what's great about Grattan hometown with all the guys there. They're also nobody cares if you're faster, because if you're faster, you're gonna make them faster. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's an awesome. Like I rode with you a couple of times at Grattan and stuff, and it's like we never met before, never talked, but still, it's like whenever something happens on the track, it's like a family. It's insane.
For sure, it's cool. We have pictures together, but we actually never met in person yet. So
right. Oh, that's right. I feel like I've known you forever, as much as you've been talking on social media.
Yeah, usually that's how it goes. Like people know me at the track now, and I'm like I don't think I met this person, but that's awesome. That's like it's getting out there. People are actually listening to it. I think I have over 33,000 views of the podcast in the last couple of years. So it's not nothing. It's not going viral or getting in the millions, but I just got to keep doing it and see where it goes.
Right, exactly, dude. That's with anything in life, racing, podcast, whatever it is. Like I just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm making it, mom.
Yeah, I did it. I made it.
Exactly. I know it's nothing crazy, but it's just one more person to get your name out there and maybe help you get where you need to be. Like you break apart or something. You met this guy on Facebook at the track one day, and he messaged, "Hey, I live 5 miles away. Come grab this part." It's like
for sure.
That's what I love about it, the network and stuff.
It's a community.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And, so yeah, is there anything on your mind you wanted to talk about today?
I mean, just basically, you've been to a lot of tracks, haven't you?
Yeah, quite a few.
I've been to Grattan and Tally. That's it. We went to Tally in what was it, February this year?
Talking Alabama, Tally GP.
Yeah, yep. And a tornado came through. I pitched a tent, got about 6 inches of water in my tent, ended up sleeping in a U-Haul truck. Wake up in the morning, everything's frozen.
Oh
no. It was a terrible experience at Tally. That was my first time I laid the Aprilia down, and it was just horrible. But yeah, I've only been to those two tracks, and like I'm looking to explore in a better, faster tracks. Obviously, Grattan's a really technical track. Everyone says if you can do Grattan, you can do any track. But I mean, I agree with it, but I don't. You know what I mean? Because I may be good in technical, short, quick, 40, 50 mile an hour corners. When you get me at 110, 115, maybe that's my limit. When you're coming up to a corner. So I guess my real question is like, what would you suggest for like from Grattan where to go to next?
You've been to Gingerman?
No, I haven't been to Gingerman yet.
I would say, I mean, it's a close home track, South Haven, Michigan, I believe it is. Not too far away from Grattan, actually. And I've been there a bunch of times. Now, as far as like what's the best track, I mean, that's kind of subjective. There's not really
right. Well, yeah, not the best track, but I mean, like coming from like obviously I race in the Northeast region, so I mean I figure I wanted to do all of them tracks obviously, but I mean like I don't know. I guess I don't know what I'm really asking right here. I
No,
like from
I
Barber,
got some information. Like I can talk forever about tracks.
right? Like,
So I'd say like Nelson Ledges is a close track that's pretty fun. The layout is awesome. It's one of the fastest average speed tracks of any place around that I can think of.
that's what I'm looking.
Um, but however, don't crash there.
Right.
It's
I,
kind of a dangerous track. It's an old school track. It's lined with tires the whole time. And when we race there, I can't remember a whole lot of air fence ever being used, unfortunately. So I would say something like Barber is a little bit farther, but if you're already going down to Alabama, it's not that far. Um,
right.
so Barber Motorsports Park is one of the best tracks in the country. The facilities are beautiful. They don't actually have garages. I mean, there's a couple
Oh,
of them under the pavilion, but there's not a whole lot of
right.
space there. So most people bring the canopies anyway, which is pretty common. Um, but yeah, beautiful facility. They have artwork everywhere. They have a museum there that I would highly recommend anybody go to. It's just fabulous. They have decades and of all different sorts of machines and different technology that's been developed over the years. It's just amazing. And they rotate bikes. So if you go next year or the year after, you will see different machines out there.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I think there might be 1,000 different machines on the floor at any one time, but they have up to maybe 2,000 that they own. From race cars and Formula One to the first motorcycle ever built, like all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's wild.
It's amazing. And then current modern race bikes, MotoGP, Moto America, Daytona winners. Uh, it's an awesome place to go.
That's
But
wild.
there's other tracks. Like I just came from the Milwaukee Mile,
Yeah.
the
How was that?
Bagger Racing League (BRL). First time doing that as a track marshal for them, for that organization, and it was really cool. They had like 6 different classes. I couldn't name them off the top of my head, but it was really fun. I have the poster right over there. Hold on one second. I'm gonna go grab it. So this is a poster from the Milwaukee Mile, September 2nd to 4th. Battle of the Baggers, presented by Custom Dynamics and Drag Specialties. And doesn't say any of the classes, but you can see some of the different machines
That,
and bikes on there.
that is awesome. Heck yeah. That's
So it was
Milwaukee.
a good time.
You drive?
Milwaukee Mile in West Allis, Wisconsin. So that was like 6 hours or 6.5 hours one way for me to drive there. But it's free camping, so marshals get camping at the track, and I always ask for discounts on everything because I'm working
Oh yeah.
there and driving 6 hours to be a marshal. So usually they really appreciate it. And so the first day I got a free bag of chips at the concession line. Second day and every other meal after that, I asked again. I was like, I work here. And they gave me free food after that, which is awesome.
That's
And
awesome.
not all the marshals do that. I'm like, I'm poor. I need help. Can you please help
Right.
me?
That's that track love, man. Like I just missed the pass the Grattan reverse. I ordered time and everything. I was supposed to get it. I'm working down here in Grand Rapids, right next to the track, like 10 miles. Can hear the bikes ripping, but I had to work all Saturdays. Um, track mama Jeannie, she got a hold of me on Facebook and stuff. She's like, "Hey, I made you a plate of food. Still come to the track after work." So I still got to go there, hang out with everybody and stuff. So
Awesome.
was, that's that love and sport you're talking about, though. I love that.
For sure. Going back to different tracks, Mid Ohio is a great track, but the surface is not the best. It's a cool
No,
layout, but they really kind of need a repave. So whenever I went there, I always had that mentality. I got to take it easy because I know the track doesn't have as much grip as some of the others. In fact, Moto America doesn't ride there anymore. And now IMSA, I think, is going to be the first year that they're not going there anymore. So two major professionals racing companies for cars and bikes are deciding to not use their facility anymore until they get a full repave because you cannot ride in the rain, either four
right.
wheels or two. It's just not safe. People are sliding off, going half pace sometimes.
Yeah,
So
that no one wants to deal with that. It's like Grattan morning. Nobody wants that.
and that's Mid Ohio's a track that never pays their track marshals. So I went there once for the vintage days and I volunteered, but I'm like, I can't go there anymore because I need to make money doing this. I'm not here just to volunteer. Unfortunately, I'm not in that position right now to be able to do that. So like next weekend, this coming weekend, I'm going to New Jersey for Moto America and they do pay. So as a marshal, I'm going to be, up at front and close at one of the corners helping out. Usually I've been a track marshal, so the guy picking up the motorcycles out there instead of
Right.
waving the flags. But like this past weekend at the Bagger Racing League, we only had 7 track marshals. At
Oh
some of
wow.
the Moto America, I would say Moto GP events, the bigger ones, we have 500 track marshals.
Oh yeah.
So we
That's
had 7 people who showed up. Like, are you joking me? This is like, what are
Good
we
job.
gonna do with
Help
7
me.
people? So we had nobody basically picking up bikes. We just were flagging. And if
Right.
somebody crashed, we just red flagged it. Because
Right.
the
Yeah.
bike's 700 pounds anyways. I mean, how are you
Yeah.
gonna pick up one of these by yourself? If the rider's injured, it's like, I need your help. Can you please can you
Can you
please
help
help
me
me?
pick your bike up and then we'll get the stretcher, man?
Yeah. So
Oh,
there's a
crazy.
couple of times that I brought my Supermoto, which is a great idea. I'm gonna always do that from now on. I loaded it in the back of my truck and put it in the pickup truck and drove there, but rode the Supermoto around the paddock as my pit bike, and it was really helpful because at turn between 5 and 6, what we call it for the Milwaukee Mile,
Mhm.
they have a chicane there, and all the time people would hit the chicane. It's like curbings, rubber curbings, and move the cones and knock the cones out of the way. So I would have to go out there and fix it and reset it after the end of every session. So it was kind of nice to be able to do that. But
Yeah, it'd be a lot of walking if not.
yeah, so there was a guy who was right across from it. He was the chicane guy. He's like chicanery, bike 34, no advantage or advantage, whatever the case was. And but I guess there was a big valley that he didn't really want to cross. So I got to go from turn 6 to the chicane, which wasn't too far. And they were telling me, like, we want you to go really quickly, do it as fast as possible. So I'm like, you telling me you want me to race my bike on the track from the chicane? He's like, yes, do it, please. I'm like, all right, awesome,
All right.
thanks. I got
Just so
permission
happens I
from
love doing that.
I got the permission from the race director to do it. So I was like, this is what I was looking for. This is awesome.
That's
You're getting
awesome.
paid to do it.
Heck yeah.
So it's not a ton of money, but it helps with, paying for gas and food and, whatnot.
Right, that's just gotta be an experience of a lifetime though, be able to do what you do right now. You know what I mean? That's like every single guy's dream. Go
It's
race
awesome.
motorcycles around tracks and stuff, become a coach and be able to race on them and stuff. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. I'm
We need
happy.
more people. If anybody's looking to do it, I mean, it's not an exclusive thing. Like, it doesn't take long to get trained. It's like an afternoon, and then you're trained. There's no certificate. It's just there's like a experienced veteran who shows you the ropes, and then like, okay, now you're good. Let me know if you have any questions, and you just learn more as you go. And like certain incidents are worse than others.
Right.
Most of the time when people crash at the racetrack, they just get up and walk away, and they're pissed off, and they go to their bike if it's salvageable, and they try to ride back in, and they might have to retech at certain organizations, or they can finish the race in others. But most of the time people are what's called self cleaners. They pick themselves up and they keep going.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
we don't have to intervene at all. I'd say most of the crashes are like that. The very first crash I attended to, the guy didn't move when he crashed. He didn't get up. I was like, oh shit, not
Oh shit,
good.
it got real.
The
Oh
first
god,
one, I was like, are you kidding me?
where's the ambulance?
But yeah, so that ended up being red flag. That was at Black Hawk Farms. And you can't talk about the person. You can't identify somebody's, it's all like
Confident.
anonymous, confidential. So I would never say who it was. I don't even remember the guy's name, to be honest. But he ended up having like a broken collarbone, and he was on that side. So he was like, everything hurts. I don't know. I don't want to move, was his answer. Like, he was conscious, he was fine, but he was like, I don't know what to do. My body hurts.
Well, we gotta move you at some point, bud.
I was like, and at that point, we are not EMS. We are like first responders, and we can like call for ambulance, which is already running 30 seconds away. But we can't actually like pick up the rider and pull them towards us, or like, if they're asked for assistance to like lean on you, you can give them a hand, but you can't pull them, because what if they have a broken arm or something? You could
And
make
you're
it
gonna
make it
blame.
worse,
Yeah, yep.
so you kind of can't really do anything. You can like attend them, like, are you okay? Do you need an ambulance? But you can't really help
Right.
them in any big way. So most of the time it's like, okay, we'll move the motorcycle, get the bike out of the way. And if they end up getting up, you can still continue the session, and there's no hazard. If they can usually walk over to the guardrail, they're just stunned for a second, and we can continue. But if
Yeah.
they're down for the count, red flag, all stations, red flag.
Oh man.
Comes over the radio, and then the crimson comes out, and usually a waving yellow in that corner, or then the ambulance flag.
Yeah. I wish they would let you pick if your bike was good, pick up and keep going at where for Grattan, man. Because both spills I did, I picked it up, and the last one I did, I thought I was done for, man. Because my brake levers, I already bent down twice. So we took a torch to it and heated it up. And the last time I did it, it had a stress crack through it. So like,
Ah,
at the corner, I'm just waiting for it to snap off. You know what I mean? It's weird, but I picked it up and I looked at it. I'm like, we're good, man. I looked at the corner worker and he's like, go, go. But they meatball you the second you went past the checker and stuff if you didn't go in and tech up. But what organization lets you do that?
well, like MotoGP or the bigger
Oh,
organizations, I'd say
yeah.
Moto America, you can still finish. In fact,
Okay.
at Barber last year, I was a flag marshal there, and it was raining. It was super wet. Last round of the year, I think we had 64 bikes down in a single day.
Holy crap, dude! That's
And
a
the
day.
top, I think in Superbike, the top three finishers all crashed
Oh wow,
and
they picked
remounted
up.
and still finished on the podium.
Oh
That's
crap,
how wet it was.
that's insane.
So like
Yes, yeah,
everybody was crashing. It was like you didn't crash. That's impressive. Everybody crashed.
right. I haven't rode in the rain. I've rode on the streets in the rain at 60 plus mile an hour, but it's not nowhere near the same as riding the track.
So
Like
take it easy. Take it easy for sure. So I've crashed a bunch of times in the rain. It's so easy to do. You can accelerate, you can brake, you can turn, but you can't combine any of them in the rain. You got to be super careful. Exaggerate your body position still, but less lean angle. I mean, you can still drag your knee in the rain if you're on rain tires. You have to
right.
be the right tire for the condition. Don't run slicks in the rain. That's not good. But you can do it. It's possible. But
Yeah,
if it's like a drying track, people make those decisions to put maybe DOT or an intermediate or
do I
maybe a
want
full
to
slick.
puddles or I want to miss them? Yeah.
Like I know Josh Heron took a gamble at Barber and he was on slicks. I was like, oh, that's not gonna work. And actually I thought like, oh, something's wrong with his electronics because you could hear his traction control just going crazy everywhere because it's just slipping up, every time he touches the throttle.
Right. Yeah. See, I need to get another set of rims for my Aprilia. I've been cheap and I bought everything else for the damn thing, but except for the most important thing, your wheels. uh, but I gotta get another set of rims and good luck trying to find a set of rain tires right now. I've been trying to ask I think Dave at Michelin, trying to find a set, and he's like, yeah, dude, they're like obsolete right now.
Wow. That's it's hard to come by, sometimes it's you might have to switch to another brand. It's like blasphemy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not. What's that? Get that over here. I'm not switching.
Well,
No, I
just
mean,
because you need a tire, I mean, there's a lot of different brands out there that would be comparable or acceptable.
right.
Just not might not be your favorite or your sponsor's brand.
Right. Well, I ain't got a tire sponsor yet, but I mean, I'd be open to definitely using a different style of rain tire or any rain tire for that matters because it's gonna be brand new to me regardless. I'm obviously diehard with Michelin's right now. They're working great for me, and it's the availability at the track. Dave's right there. He's got somebody there all the time, and that's why didn't I buy $500 tires off the internet when he's got it there for the track price. So and I support. I try. They help me. I help them. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
And some of the race events, not just the track time events, but the race events will usually have multiple tire vendors. Do they still do that now? They have maybe Pirelli and Dunlop and Michelin.
Yeah. They had Pirelli and Dunlop there last time, but I ran Dunlops and Tally, which the guy sold me some Dunlops. I probably should have never been on slicks. It was way too cold for one. I had nowhere near the experience to be on slicks for two, so I got a bad taste in my mouth just from that. But from everybody else's experience and guys who are faster than me, I talk to and stuff, they absolutely love the hell out of them. And I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm happy with my Michelin's. If they start doing something I don't like, I'll be open to something else. Like I'm not, die hard, but right now I'm a Michelin fan for sure.
Sure. So tell me about your progression in track days. I assume you did a bunch of track days, and everybody usually starts in novice, you go to intermediate, advanced, before you get to novice racer, expert racer, professional. So tell me about your progression and how that was so far.
Well, we went to, like I said, what was it? This year we mark a full year that we've been going track. We started last year in was it September, August or something like that? Maybe July, maybe it was that soon, but we started there. Obviously novice. When me and my buddy Josh showed up, the the instructor's like, well, have you ever rode track before? Oh, no, no. And they're like, well, this ain't like the streets, man. We thought in our heads we're some couple BAs, and, riding the streets hard as hell, this and that. Like, okay, so we're intimidated now. And we hit the track and went through the whole novice thing. And it was like, it's really ain't that hard, like I get it, get a feel for it. It was nice that we went through that though. Like I'm super glad that they make you do that, because otherwise we went out there and dumped their bikes in a heartbeat and like probably hurt somebody else or hurt ourselves, because there's a lot of things that we felt we knew that we didn't know. So like the first day of riding novice, in the first half they make you ride slow and then they break you loose. Once they broke us loose, we're like, balls to the wall. So we're passing, everybody's going ham, like, oh yeah, we got this. And then we started in the back of the packs. They let you out group by group. So we started in the very last, and then we realized we lapped everybody again. It's like, holy shit, like we're ready to move up. And I don't know, I can't remember what instructor it was, but him and me were kind of going at it for a minute. He was obviously faster than me, but he chased me down to my paddock and stuff. And he's like, hey, you need to get bumped up. I'm like, oh, all right. Like, hell yeah, if you think so, then absolutely. I'm bumped up. So went the next day, ran intermediate. My boy Josh got bumped up the next day. And then we went, I think, 2 more times for Grattan, because that's the only tracks we've been. Then it was the end of the year. Hit Tally in February, absolute disaster. We both wrecked our bikes several times.
Yeah.
Got rained on, snowed on, you name it happened. Come back up here, hit Grattan again. He had a rough time, an intermediate, getting the right tires, his bike underneath him properly, his mindset. It was just wasn't a good mix. He laid it down a couple of times, and I was doing all right. And then we did that first race this year for Wera. And it was just like an eye opener, like, wow, we are slow. We thought we were faster in intermediate beating them guys and stuff. And no, absolutely not. If I had any suggestions for anybody, I say blow through, get your novice down, make sure you pay attention though, and take in what they're telling you, because it does help. Like I thought it was a classroom, like, oh yeah, just shut up, I'm gonna go on my bike. But no, that's very important, the details they teach you in the beginning for sure. And then intermediate, I would say run intermediate for a year. Absolutely. Until you like are beating everybody and lapping everybody, it's staying intermediate. Because once you get in advance, it's a whole other game. I just got bumped up in advance this year. Ever since my Billy, actually, he was my coach for bumping me up, which is mind blowing. And now I'm a pain in his ass on the race days, And but yeah, he just bumped me up in advance, and like I was slow, but just putting yourself, like, if you have to ask yourself, am I ready or am I not ready? If you have to question it, you're only gonna find out one way. Just when you don't think you should jump, that's when you need to jump. So that way you can keep on progressing. And now they're Jeff and Billy, they're both I know Jeff's expert now. He got a novice fine for racing, and Billy, I'm pretty sure he's gonna get white plates for this last race in Nelson Ledges it is. And they're all, hey, get your weight plate. It doesn't matter about them plaques. Them plaques don't mean nothing. I'm like, I've only done 2 races, guys. This is my first full year on a track, man.
Yeah.
Like
Take it easy. Like it does,
yeah.
even if you're winning, like you shouldn't just bump up. I do a full season,
No.
like I would say, just even if you didn't do the full races, like maybe it would be good to do a full novice season next year and stay as a novice.
Yes,
that's not a bad idea. You'll get some hardware for sure. You'll be the guy to beat if you're doing 22s at Grattan. I won in novice 10 years ago with 25s on a 600. So I thought 25s are like, those are kind of novice times, but you're on a different machine. You're on a faster bike.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's that straightaway that gives me a couple seconds for sure. But it's like, it's wild too, man. Like everyone keeps on telling me to get a 600, get a 600. Like I want to. I owned all 600s before this Aprilia. So like I want to take a 600 on the track and feel, because I know it's a lot lighter. It'd be like just be different apex, it's like everyone says in the 600s you apex that you're supposed to, on thousands you 90 everything off. So like I was trying for the longest time to apex the damn thing, and it wasn't going for me at all. I'm like, come on, like just work with me. I was fighting the bike the entire time, and then I think it was Pete Eckhart said something like, you're not supposed to fight. If you feel you're sore and you feel like your arms are tired and everything's all tensed up, that's not right. Not doing it right, man. You got to listen to the guys around the thousands, corner your corner, 90 your corners off, and quit fighting the bike and just have fun. And like it just clicked for me that day, and I realized I wasn't so tense. I wasn't coming off the track with like arm pump and stuff and all like, So, I mean, that's I definitely want to try a 600 for sure. I want to get second bike, so that way if I do crash the Aprilia and can't make it out of it, I hope to God it doesn't ever happen, but not if but when. But so yeah, you ride 600, right?
Yeah, I've always been in the 600 class, but there's a possibility it might be on a BMW S1000R in the next coming little while here. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've always been in the 600 class, but always raced up in other classes. So 600s, 750s, 1000s. I've raced many
Yeah.
times, but not having that extra horsepower, you got to fight for it every chance you can get.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like look at Neil. He's running what a 119 on a 600. Like, what?
It's
I've been trying to.
possible.
Oh, it's absolutely. He's done it. I mean, it's insane how much just watching the other guys and stuff just helps. You know, like you try to get tips and tricks off them, but they're not gonna tell you everything, obviously. But I do a lot of. I have people take a lot of pictures and stuff for the sole fact that everybody wants their social media and just for learning. Like I'm like, get the guy in front of me and get the two guys behind me, so that way I can put us all together and I can see, you know, corner for corner where everybody's at and their bike and how it's looking. I've felt like I don't know how you say it, a superhero. It's the closest thing to flying I can say you do when it comes
Yeah.
out of S turn on Grattan onto the straightaway. And you know, you got your bike just stood straight up, but your knee and your face is an inch from the ground. You know, it's like that's just bliss for me right there. But that I realized by doing that though, like you watch them, they'll put their body off, and then they'll be going through the corner, and then you'll see him extend him and his little brother. Oh, what's his little brother's name? I can't think of it. Neil's little brother. Do you know?
Ryder, or is it
Ryder.
Chase?
Yep. Ryder. I ride. See, he was in my class too, and you watch him. They'll go in the corner, and they'll set it right here. And then right for the apex, they'll extend it even more, and it's like they're just gone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I had a half a lap.
Yeah. You got to stand the bike up, get it on the meat of the tire before you really get on the throttle harder.
Exactly. And I'm just falling on my face with that lately. I don't know. I just because you know I want to be fast. I want to be the quick guy. So I'm cracking way too soon. I'm not in the vibe position. I'm messing everything up. It's not smooth at all. It's all just abrupt. Hurry up. Maybe it'll work. And if it doesn't work, I gotta make up the next one.
So
So
when you're going
there's
through the
a
corner,
definitely.
you end your trail braking, and then when you're trying to open that throttle, the fastest guys are getting to 1, 2, 3, 5%, just enough maintenance throttle that you're transferring the weight to the rear. Once you transfer the weight, you can open it just ever so slightly, then you can start applying it smoothly, evenly, consistently throughout the remainder of the corner.
Yeah, and you could see it in my tire where it was all brakes, cracking throttle, all brakes, you know, ass end, losing it all over the place. You know, everybody's come off track like Nick, you're gonna dump it, dude. It's looking terrible. I'm like, I know, but you know, I'm just being giddy about it, I guess. You know, still overexcited. So now it's time to really crack down for, like you said, next year I want to run novice. Now, I mean, I don't want to sandbag though. If I go out there and I do 3 races at 3 different tracks, which I know is not going to happen, I'm going to get beat by people, you know. But if it did happen, I would absolutely move myself up. But I think, like you said, the best thing for me now is to get a full year novice and learn different things, you know, and work my way up slowly rather than just trying to go balls to the wall with it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely respectable. That's not sandbagging. You haven't done a full season yet ever. So
right.
you haven't been to all the tracks. Like you're gonna learn today. You're gonna
Yeah,
find out at some tracks
exactly.
you go to, like, oh man, I'm like 6 seconds off the pace right now. And then as you go faster and you learn the track better, you get quicker, usually. Some people plateau for some reasons, but um there's always, a lot of times, even if you're racing a novice, you'll be gridded up with the experts. It might be a one-wave race or a two-wave race where they're separated by a couple seconds. But even in those two-wave races, there's usually some experts that aren't as quick as they maybe could be, or for whatever reason, they're off pace. So they miss their setup. Who knows? And so a lot of times the novices end up catching some of the slower experts. And that's always a cool feeling as a novice. Like, I'm ahead of the white plates, a couple of them at least. It's a confidence boosting thing. But try to win the race overall, that's almost unheard of. Like
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten third place as a novice overall with the experts, and there was maybe 8 to 10 experts in the race, and getting third place overall, it's like that's pretty cool. I guess I'm doing really well at this one.
Yeah, that's good. See, that's what sucks too, is because like the races I've been to so far, there's only been like 3, 4 guys, you know. So we're riding. It's Eric, Tate, me, Billy, and two other guys. You know what I mean? So it's like those two are up front. Like I said, my first race, everybody lapped me. I was like, you know, that feeling in your head when you're like, you got family there and this and that, and you're like, you're getting lapped, and all your people like paid money to come see you, and you're just like up your helmet, like, why can't I go faster?
But that's how you got to learn. You got to start there. Like I got lapped my first race. My first race was in mixed wet conditions. It was like a drying track. It had rain, but it wasn't raining now. And so I went out on DOTs. I was like, I'm just gonna go see how it is. Like, I don't know.
How
I've
much
never really rode like this at the racetrack before. I don't have rain tires. I don't have a second set of rims. I didn't have the money to buy extra tires anyways. If I had, I was just doing it on a shoestring budget, just trying it out. And the thing is, the first two races you do, you're a provisional novice. So they just want you to get through the weekend and not crash, and then you're like a official novice. So I'm like,
Yeah,
that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just going out there, putzing, and I hope I don't get in anybody's way too much,
right.
too badly, and just trying to see the checkered flag. That's the whole point. Is just coming home, bringing the bike home, nice and shiny, and maybe a couple of new bug splatters on it, and
Right. That's
just
it. That's
don't
it.
crash. Just go out
Right.
there, ride around, don't crash. And then that was my first race. I didn't do that well. I don't think I got last, but I definitely got lapped. And then like the next race I went in, my buddy Amar, who actually had just bought his motorcycle,
Oh no shit.
um, but we were been riding together for a decade or so, and he's like, "Oh, I heard the call over the announcements." And I didn't hear the call. I'm like, I trust you. Let's go out. We were in the same race, 600 class, and it turned out to be the wrong race.
Oh, you
Um,
got both in the wrong race.
so
Oh no.
we got disqualified.
Oh man.
So we just didn't get points.
Right.
But I finished the race. I think we ended up going in the 750 Superbike race. And I passed some people. It was drying up more by that time. So like I was going faster and getting more comfortable. And that was at least my second or third race of the day. And so I got disqualified from one of my first races, but it was still like a great experience because I was like, that was great. I was passing people. Like me and this guy battled a couple times back and forth. It's just fun to go through that and learn when you're out there.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite the experience. Like the best way I explain it to people, the racing compared to riding, like a sport bike track time day compared to a wear a day, world of difference. And then everyone's telling me you go from a wear a day to a Moto America day, it's a world of difference. I'm like, okay, I want to go try a Moto America day, like go to a pit or something like that and check it out, to see what it's all about. But like I tell everybody it's like the STT days are practice days. They're supposed to be fun, but at the same time, when you're out there having fun, if you want to do this, you're doing it. So you're burning money regardless. So if you might as well make your money worth it. That's the way I look at it. Like if I'm spending money on tires already, I'm doing track time, gas, this and that. I got to get something out of it. So I'm gonna push myself, just not to the absolute max. And then race day comes, and I'm still learning. So I'm trying to learn these things on my practice runs while chasing these guys. And then, like to me, when it comes to race day, I'm gonna crash. I just have it in my head. I'm gonna lay it down. I don't want to. It's not intentional by any means, but I know I'm not as fast as these guys right now. They're gonna be doing some stuff I'm gonna be trying that I've never done before. So it's gonna be iffy. But I feel like having that mentality has definitely got me a lot further than what I would be if I would have went into it cautiously. Like obviously, I got a nice bike. It's expensive, but I look at it as I can buy them every day. But now when it comes into a reckless wise, like if I'm endangering other people and myself, then I know when it's time to pump the brakes. Because like the first time I got passed by somebody, I was like, what? Like, holy shit, buddy, give me some space here. And I thought about it like, oh yeah, we're racing. And then the next weekend we were at a Grattan practice day, and my first time in advance, I was coming into the bowl. I guess I must have been going too slow because somebody packed their bike right into my ass cheek, like literally riding and slammed into me. I'm
Oh
like,
man.
what is going on here? But if you ain't bumping, you ain't racing, they say. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to be the cause for anybody to wreck. You know what I mean? You never want to be that guy.
For
Like,
sure. As long as you're consistent and you're not erratic and you're holding your line and you're not changing your line halfway through the corner, or like one time me and this guy had a collision together. It wasn't an accident. It was completely his fault. But like he we were at Road Atlanta. I'm not gonna say names, but we were at Road Atlanta going into the heaviest braking zone on the track, going down the hill, six gear pinned, and downhill braking zone. And he is like, it's a left-hand turn.
yeah,
He's on the left-hand side of the track, like a quarter away from the grass, like that quarter of the track.
right,
And I'm on the curbing on the right-hand side of the track where you should be. And
right.
at the last second, he just swoops all the way over into the braking zone. And I'm like, I had to let off the brake because I had nowhere else to go. I was on the far edge of the curbing on like the rumble part of it, on the corner entry, which you don't really want to be. I was just trying to stay off of the grass. And he still hit me. Like his bike hit my bike, and I just let off the brake and I kind of went deep into the corner, and I kept it on the pavement, but it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, why would you take that line? That's so dangerous.
Right.
And
Educated. There's
so
some that
there's a point where you can like swoop back, you can make one move and then come back over, but not in the braking zone. You don't
no,
want
yeah,
to do that in the braking zone where you're already hard on the brakes. That's just
right.
stupid.
Yeah, it's ignorant as hell. Yep. I agree. I mean, I've ran into a lot of that too. Obviously, me being reckless as hell, I go to the very last seconds where I think I'm actually gonna lose it if I don't break right now. You know what I mean? So like, you come in a lot of people or off to the left and going to apex. If I'm hanging on the right, so I can cut them and get it sooner. You know what I mean? But I've run into a lot of situations where I'm like just smashing my brakes still harder than I should be, just that way I give them the right way because they were already there. You know what I mean? I don't want to cut nobody off. And I have done it before and I found them afterwards. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, no, it's okay. It's like, no, it's not okay, dude. Like, I don't want to hurt you. This is not that serious, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to race with a big heart, you know?
You got
Because
to be ruthless sometimes, but respectable.
you do. And when you get it back, you got to be, accept it. You know, you can't be like, oh, no, F you. You know, you can't. I don't
I
know.
always try to make sure I make a good, clean pass because if it's not a good, clean pass, they're just going to come by you the way you came by them. And it
Exactly.
might not be so nice when they do it.
Right. Exactly. When
So
me and Bill were having at it, man, there was definitely a lot of dirty passing in there. Side by side. It was both. We were both in the same mindset. I'm not letting him win. No, Billy, no. And I'm sure he was screaming his helmet at me too. But that was like hands down the best ride I've ever done.
you just got to leave room to race.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So
And
now, did you? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I was watching the Formula One race, and they're going around at the Dutch Grand Prix, and they're not leaving room to race. It's so common for like Formula One, or I guess more car racing, because they are so much more protected to not leave room to race, to like drive him off the track. Basically, the car might be, you can see his wheels are next to the driver's cockpit. He's alongside you. You have to leave some room there, but they don't always do that, and it's like that's rude. I don't appreciate that kind of racing. Like I
Right.
understand that will keep you in front, but it's rude. Like you have to leave room to race as a motorcycle racer predominantly. You could kill somebody if you don't leave room to race. It's like that's serious. You can't just run them off the racetrack because you wanted that piece of tarmac.
Right. Exactly. Want to play to say you're number one? Yeah. No. No. And I seen that happening with me and Billy going back and forth too, man. So he'd always catch me at the bus stop. We'd go on the straightaway. He was down 10 horsepower on his bike. He found out later. So I'd get him on the straightaway. Then we'd meet back up halfway around the track and here come the bus stop and he's beating me. I'm like, just wild as hell. Like, I just hope I'm gonna try and make Nelson's Ledge. What is it, this month, ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think that one's on my radar. I think I got another event that weekend.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's like the 27th or something this month. I'm gonna try and hit the Friday, the practice day, because I had never been there.
Yeah.
Obviously, so I'm gonna try and go easy on it Friday and then actually race, but not like full balls to the wall because I still don't know the track. It took me almost a full, 6 months, 8 months of racing grad and every chance I got to know it as well as I do. I still hit that track every time. Like, okay, let's go easy on the flow. Let's figure out where everything's at again.
Yeah. And like I said, don't crash there. So you need to I think you might need to change your mindset about going out there because some of these tracks, if you're going to crash at Nelson Ledges in some of the spots, you're going to hit a tire wall and be in the hospital.
Okay.
Like I've crashed myself and it was a high side. It wasn't the end of the world. I was fine, but I ended up crashing into a guardrail at 120 miles an hour that was not
Shit.
protected with anything. It might have had like a 1 inch piece of crappy foam in front of it. But yeah, man, it can change your life. And it kind of took me out of racing for a little while. Um, oh, I might have lost them there. So yeah, I would just say be careful where you crash. Like some of these places, think of it as like you're going to the Isle of Man and you can't crash.
Oh man,
Like
that's
there's honestly a lot of corners like that at some of these tracks that you're just maybe not going 100% because the consequences are grave. They're not
absolutely.
good. So just take that with a grain of salt. Like even Barber has guardrails. A lot of tracks have a pit wall. You can always crash into the pit wall. That's a stationary object, and it'd be not a good day. So
Absolutely.
medical bills are pretty expensive. So just
Right. And I got
take
a
that with
family and a job to keep.
yeah. So think of it like like I totally understand that mindset. You know, if you got tons of cash, it's faster to get to the limit by pushing really hard. You'll
Right.
find out real quick. Like a Mark Marquez might crash 20, 30 times in a season and still win the world championship because he's
Right.
crashing in practice and qualifying,
Hmm.
not necessarily the races. But think about like the Northwest 200 or the Ireland road racing stuff, or all that. You have to have a totally different mindset. You can't be crashing and throwing it down every corner because you'll hit a cement barrier.
Right. I mean, it's honestly, it's embarrassing too. When you come back, you got grass all over your stuff, and your bike's all tore up. I mean, it's expensive, absolutely too. I mean, I guess it was just it's mainly my passion since I've been a child. You know what I mean? That just overrode my thought process, I guess you might say. So I mean, but absolutely going to Nelson's Ledge or any other track, I'm gonna go like I did to Tally. And I went with like I don't know this for crap, and then when I started getting a feel for it, I'm like, oh, we're good. And then no, I still didn't know it.
Just
So
takes
I just,
time.
yeah, exactly. And I'm a very patient person, but with this, you have to be patient. You have to respect the track and the bike, otherwise, it's going to throw you around. It's not going to be good.
For sure. So maybe looking to do the full season next year. Um,
Absolutely.
and are you looking to do any different tracks for track days that might not be race events, or trying to do
Yeah, I might,
more race events?
like you said, the one in South Haven. That's definitely a one I want to do for sure this year. And then
Gingerman.
yeah, Gingerman. I
And
wanted to go to.
actually, sorry to interrupt. Talking about
Go ahead.
Gingerman, there is a track day at Gingerman coming up for STT September 16th, next Friday. It's
Oh no.
3 p.m. registration, 5 p.m. riding till dusk.
Okay.
So it's an afternoon evening event till it's dark, September 16th. So
Uh, I
I
should be
think
there.
I might be there.
Okay.
Um, I might be there riding, so we'll see.
That'd be awesome. I'm gonna have to bring my bike down to work. My work schedule's so crazy too. It's like I'm on 7 days a week, and if something crazy happens, you might get a day off or so. Like we just come off a 3 day weekend, obviously for Labor Day, they shut everything down. But with what we're doing, just it's so money and time consuming that Texas is like, oh yeah, no, keep going and all that. So it's like I buy the track time, and then I never know until the day before if I can make it or not. So it's like, oh, it's frustrating as hell. But I just have to. I realize now if I just pack my trailer and bring it with me down where I work at and leave it at the hotel, which is sketchy. No one likes to do, you know what I mean? But then at least if I get a chance, I could shoot over there and hit one real fast or something.
You just need to
But
get one of those GPS trackers.
for sure, right? For real.
I think they're not that expensive, whether it's Bluetooth or actual GPS. Some of them, like the more expensive ones, are like a monthly fee, but a lot of them is just one time charge.
Oh, okay. I have to look into that for sure.
Yeah, I'm like anything over $1,000 should have one of those, even like a Bluetooth Amazon Tile, is it?
Right, right,
Apple
yeah.
Tile? I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah, I have to put it like underneath my gas tank or something.
You gotta hide it on there.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you did you like rate like do a full season before or no?
Yep. So I did my first full season of racing in 2012. I did Wera Novice. I won 3 championships in the 600, 750, and 1000 class on a 600. Then I moved up to expert after that. I did 2013, 14, and 15 as an expert. I got runner-up at championships, second place many times, but I
Right.
never won an expert championship. Um, I think I have 75 top 10 expert finishes as a road
Holy
racer.
shit. Yeah, you've done some
Um,
racing, bud.
and 50 plus podiums between motorcycle road racing, go-karting, and mountain bike racing. So I've done all kinds of different disciplines. I got a jersey up here for cycling, for mountain bike racing, with my brands that I sell on it and my logo up there. But yeah, just trying to stay in the sport. I had a really bad crash in 2015. I was kind of mentioning before. And so that kind of took me out of road racing financially. It was I couldn't afford to do it, to buy a whole brand new bike. I just totaled, and afford to do the events again. So I got into things like mountain biking and karting, and did some car track days and tough mudders and foot races, and just trying to do cheaper racing. I do simulator esport racing now.
I seen
Um,
that the car thing.
Yep, with
That's
card,
cool as hell.
with the wheel and pedals. I would highly recommend it. it's great training, makes me better driver, racer, for all of it. Doing some other disciplines helps you with other sports.
Right.
You know, it's all related. Um, so yeah, just trying to stay in the sport. And now this year I've become a coach for MSF, for STT, and for USMCA, and I'm waiting on paperwork right now. I keep checking my email every 10 minutes. I'm waiting on paperwork for the next one. It's not there yet. But yeah, I should be a coach for 4 organizations in the next couple hours or weeks or days,
Come
or
on,
I don't
hopefully.
know. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but they say yes, let's move forward. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm waiting.
I'm waiting on you
I
now.
want to be
All right.
patient. I want to be patient and not bug you. I know you're busy, but like
Right. I want this.
I need to make money too, so
Absolutely.
um so
So
yeah.
how'd you go about this? I guess I wrote down things to talk about is sponsorships. Like obviously it's my first year racing. I got a couple sponsors, some close hometown friends and stuff. A guy I buy vehicles from, Nick's Auto, Nick's
Nice.
Motorsports. Sorry, CarQuest. Who else? Gaylord Snow and Ice. I started my own little T-shirt brand. Don't ever stop. We're trying to do a whole team of it. Don't ever stop racing. I got a bunch of guys who just bumped up from intermediate to advanced now, so they're gonna race with us next year. I'm gonna try to start something with that, but with well, the way I got those sponsors, I basically went up to them and was like, "Hey, I'm not helping you. You're gonna help me. You know, you already have a legit business. This is what I'm trying to do. And if I win some races or something, we bring my bike in, put some trophies and yada yada." Thankfully, it's worked out for me. So now, I guess my question for you is, being an experienced racer with, and obviously you had to have sponsors to help you out with racing and stuff. What's the best way to come at, like to bring up that proposition, like? Because I've had several people now since I've won at Grattan, and they're like, "Hey, we want to sponsor you. We sponsor you." So the way I thought would be the best idea is to give them a list of basic prices of things that we use, like the tires, the track time, not including food and hotels and all that, because nobody cares. Obviously, that comes with the territory, but like lap timers, plastics, and all that. Like, how did you go about bringing it to people? It's where they wanted to sponsor you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
so I've
guess.
had 20 sponsors in the past. Most of them were parts and services, discounts and free parts and things like that. A handful of them were giving me checks, a very small amount. So ultimately, I never figured it out in the way that would keep me racing. The only
Okay.
reason I'm not racing full time right now is because I can't afford to do it.
Right.
So, like, I want to be out there in Moto America. I earned my Moto America license in 2015. So, my whole goal in life is to be a professional racer. So, if anybody has opportunities, I'm all ears. And so,
Right.
I have gear.
Take Eric.
Yeah, I have gear, will travel for food, podiums, and money. Um,
Yeah.
and so, like, my whole thing is trying to build an audience with this podcast to help, spread the word about sponsorship or the people who sponsor me and get their names out there more. And, if you have 1 million followers, you might get $1 million. Like,
Right.
it's proportional. Like, it's exponential. If you get more people to watch your stuff and you can say to a sponsor, look, I have all these eyeballs watching me, versus the guy who might have less than that, who are they going to go with, And
Exactly.
so I created a marketing proposal of sorts. I think you should have kind of 2 versions. I know a little bit. I'm not inept at that,
Well,
but
yeah, but I mean, anything helps, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I
I'm
just
a brother, start from scratch.
yeah, so I know quite a bit, but I'm actually looking into learning more about it. You should always keep learning. This is an extremely important topic. Funding racing is the most difficult part about racing.
Mhm.
But if you're a good fundraiser, you can race forever.
Right.
You can start a team and help other people race.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think it's possible. But you need like major corporations, and I was just talking about this the other day, like construction companies and insurance companies and law firms, and like any national chains of restaurants or stores, anybody who has a marketing budget that's I mean, it doesn't have to be that huge, but think of who has $100 million marketing budget. Go
Right.
ask those people.
Applebee's or something like that, but
Yeah, like Subway. I mean, Panera Bread comes to mind from Kyle Wyman. We got a recent sponsorship from them.
nice.
I've, you know, you just never know who's actually paying for things anymore, because so many people will accept free parts and discounts because you'll take anything you can get. But at some point, I think you once you get more established, it should be no free advertising. It should be you have tiers. So there might be tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. If you're a tier 3, you're like almost a title sponsor.
Okay.
If you're tier 2, you might be someone who gives free parts. If you're tier 3, it might be discounts. And so maybe if you're tier 3, you're not put on the bike. You're put on social media. You're put on, all the podcast.
Okay.
But
So give them stages they can choose from, so it makes it more available to their liking rather than just one solid take it or leave it. I see what you're saying.
the whole
That's
point, you have to switch your thinking on what you're asking them. It's not, hey, I need this. Can you help me with this? It's no, I provide marketing and advertising solutions.
right.
What kind of advertising are you looking for? Like what's your budget look like?
Yeah,
This is
how
what we provide.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for the most visibility, the highest offer that we have, it would be this much for, it could be a specific round. Say I want to do single round sponsorship where you might have different stickers on the bike from round to round. And you are the, X brand ESR bike this weekend. Your name is now the naming rights of the team. So
Yeah.
you can offer that too, like the most exposure possible. Maybe logos on your helmet and the biggest ones on the bike, stuff like that. If it's just a discount provider, maybe they get a small sticker on your belly pan.
Right. Right. Okay.
And things like that. But you should have two different proposals. One might be a 1-page, short and sweet, very quick. Because if you have a 10-page proposal, not everybody's going to read page 7. It might be interesting, but keep it short and sweet. You might be able to have 7 pages on the follow-up. Hey, I'd like to get more information, but maybe don't send that one to lead with.
Okay.
Or there's tons of different theories out there. I never got the 6-figure check I was looking for.
Right.
I think that's going to come from a variety of different sources, though. It's rare that it be one company. It's going to be a bunch of different companies kind of chipping in, maybe $1,000 here, maybe 5,000 here. Maybe you got a title sponsor that's 10,000,
Right.
and that'd be wonderful. Or I've even seen like dealerships help out quite a bit, whether they're car dealerships or motorcycle dealerships. And it's like, just go around to every dealership in the country until you find one that says yes.
Right. Well, I mean, that's basically what I've been doing is, the ones I think that would sponsor my first sponsor, Mid-Mitten Excavating. He was my buddy Dakota. We grew up together, did oil field together and stuff. He's got his own excavating business, and he reached out to me like, "Hey, man, I think you got something. Let me help out." I was like, "Hey, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, sponsor." He's like, "You need to find other people," and he's actually been a really, really big help with me by helping find other people. Like he's word of mouth to them, other businesses he works with. He's like, "I got this guy, I got this kid, man, and you gotta check him out." So that's definitely been helping, but it's just I hate when you go to ask for a sponsorship that they already have their advertisement stuff. It's like you're basically asking for something, but I see what you're saying by finding out a way you can help each other out. Absolutely, because what's in it for them, what's in it for you. We can't look at it that way. It's how can we help each other out and build a team together and everything. But it's like when I think numbers, we're not gonna say numbers, but you know how much it costs. I know how much it costs. They have no idea how much it costs. When you throw a number at them, it's like I feel like numbers scare people away. So like I think my best approach is to leave the numbers out of it now, and if they want to know numbers, then absolutely where their money's going to. Because I've done that with my most recent ones just to prove that I'm not some kid. Because where I live at, people like do scams like that. Oh, sponsor me for this, and then they just take the money and run.
Yeah.
So I've shown them seats of tires and track time, this and that. Oh, you ain't got to show me that, but it still helps things. So I mean, it's hard to come up with a decent amount to actually help you and make it worth all the marketing and stuff you do, put the name on everything, making the stickers. I make my own shirts and logos, so I'll make their company sticker. I'll make it for them and put it on my bike or my equipment and stuff. So it's like it's a lot of side work also alone from racing. You know what I mean? So it's like got to be worth my time too. But is it really going to help that much? And because like all my sponsorships I got this year basically could pay for one day. You know what I mean? But I was more than thankful and I was happy to have them. I still am that way. But I guess I got to direct it more towards, like you said, the multi-million-dollar companies and stuff. Keep the little guys still, though, you know what I mean? Because they're the ones that are there first. I always hold on to them.
Oh yeah, I mean, you never know who could be a super race fan who just happens to have a lot of money and is just kind of wants to help you, but you're also providing them a service. Like I've had local businesses like energy companies like Goo Energy Labs and a chiropractor, gave me free adjustments and things like that. So everything, every little bit helps.
Right. Absolutely. So I'm hoping to make a couple more track times this year, and then next year just go full force with it.
Heck yeah.
And then see where it goes. When kids ask me, guys at work and stuff, like, oh man, where do you really see yourself going with that? I don't know. I'm just having fun. And you're like, why? What do you mean? Why am I having fun? Like, no. Why do you only see yourself having fun with it instead of taking it to the full extent? It's like, well, money. I got a family. So yeah, but if someone said today, I'll pay for your whole way. Would you go? It's like, yeah, obviously. I'm already paying thousands of dollars to do this. So if someone says I'll pay my way, then hell yeah. But
Yep.
I mean, it's a dream, like you said, Moto America, man. That would be a dream of my lifetime. I'm 30 right now, but I see guys 40, 50 years old still beat me.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
you
like,
got a lot of time left. I mean, you got Superbike. It does have an age limit, so 55. But after 55, I mean, there's so many other classes you could race competitively. Just might not be Moto America.
right. I mean, if I end up being, I mean, what does it take to be Moto America? I mean, you have to have lap times and all that stuff to prove that you're that good, right?
So to get your Moto America license, you have to accumulate so many points as an expert,
Okay.
and you also have to be. So they also talk to the race organization, like, is this guy safe? Does he crash every weekend? Do we want
Well,
him in our organization? Like that
right.
kind of stuff. So they kind of give you like a background race check, and they
Right.
talk to the people who saw you race and things like that. Is he, taking people out, all this stuff. So, and then. So I don't think it's so much lap time specific, but once you get to Moto America, then you'll have to qualify. And like for the Twins Cup, for example, they might have 40 people who are there to qualify, but maybe a few of them don't make the grid because they have the caps on certain racetracks for how many riders can make the grid.
Okay. That
So
makes
you
sense.
you will have to qualify once you get there, but I don't think it's any lap time restrictions to do that. You just have to accumulate so many points within a period, or like have experience as a professional car racer. Maybe you switched over to motorcycle. They're like, "Yep, you're fine." Like maybe
All right.
there's other ways to get it. Like I've heard of road racers going to flat track, and it's supposed to be a similar license graduation, but they've never really done a whole lot of flat track. But they're super fast in another category. They usually grant people licenses from stuff like that.
Okay. So it's definitely within my reach then. Because
Oh yeah.
I didn't know how far out it was if they, but I'm sure it's just an insane amount of money to do it. But I mean, just it's skill level. I
So
mean,
yeah, once you're an expert for a year, I'd say look at the possibility of doing a round. A typical weekend for Wera might be, depends how many classes you do and how far you had to drive, but in your home state, I'd say $1,500 to $2,000 for a weekend, depends how many tires you're using.
yeah, it's about
And
average.
so that's pretty good numbers, and that's without balling out, going to hotels and dinner. That's like eating
That's
at
sleep.
the local dinner.
You
So,
know,
so and then if you're doing like a Wera National, maybe in a different state, I'd say 2,000 to 2,500 for extra gas and still sleeping at the track, camping out.
right.
Maybe another rear tire or something, maybe another front. But I've heard numbers like for Moto America, depends how many sets of tires you use. Like they could use 4 or 5 sets, maybe more than that, up to 8, I think, for the superbike class.
Oh
So
god.
that's pretty expensive. That's a couple $1,000 right there in tires before
Yep.
you even drive to the track and have crew credentials. So you're gonna need to maybe buy a radio
Okay.
to talk to race control and pit, hot pit or on the grid, I should say, generators and canopies, and like expect, I would say, maybe four to $5,000 up to $10,000 per weekend
Right.
at
Pretty quick.
Moto America. I mean, it adds up really quick. And if you're doing an 11 round series, that's over $100,000 just to participate. Not even like expecting any checks to come your way.
Right.
So yeah, you can't, most people can't do this alone. So that's why I don't come from a rich family. Like that's why I kind of stopped road racing for a little while in 2015 because I had this bad crash and I couldn't afford to do it, and it's so expensive even just to do it in your home state.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is. And I mean, 2 hours ain't that far, ain't that bad. But when you work till 7 o'clock at night, you race 2 hours home, load the trailer up, throw everything down to there, like call a lady, oh, I forgot this, hurry up, bring my suit. That's happened to me before. Get all the way to the track, go to hop on, like, where's my suit at?
Oh no.
No, why? Yeah.
But we do it because we love it, not because we expect to be millionaires. Like, I just want to make money so I can afford to do it. And I think I can do it at a high level. Sounds like you can do it at a high level already, as you're learning, but there's always more to learn. I just want to keep continuing to be able to do it. So being a coach now allows me to do it at a cheaper level. And it still costs money,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just another way, another avenue to go down. And I'm learning more as a coach. Like teaching people, other people is so rewarding to see them like struggling or not really getting off the bike, not using their right body position, thinking they're hanging off so far. And I'm like, dude, you didn't even move your butt a millimeter. Like, what are you doing out there? Like, I want to like scream and yell and like, you shouldn't be riding like that for the rest of the session. Like, get off the session. Like,
Right,
I
right,
wish I
exactly.
could have some like head communication with them because it's like I don't want you out there for another 15 minutes riding like that. Like I need to talk to you. Like let's talk, you know?
Get the whip around them, slap the old tail. Every time a instructor did that to me, I was like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what I do now? Get your ass chewing real fast, and they say, okay, get back on the track.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
it's not a reprimanded thing. Just I wanted to help teach you to get better.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's greatly appreciated by guys with more experience for sure. Because there's so many things I was doing wrong that I thought I just had in the bag. And I mean, I'm some young tattooed punk kid with a bike, But they yell at me, and I'm like, oh wow. And then I'm like, obviously you get irritated, like, oh, what do you know? That's because you think I'm you're too slow or something like that. And then I do what they say, and it's like, holy crap, they're right. So I probably after my second track day, I lost that mentality of they don't know what they're talking about because they clearly do.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
there's all sorts of different levels of coaches. There might be a coach who's really great for the novice class, who maybe doesn't race full time. And, there's all different levels. So you might be passing coaches at some point, and that's okay too. Like they're maybe a great coach for some intermediate riders.
right?
But there usually is a really fast, or a handful of fast racers who are there coaching that you can always get a tow from.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just pumped up to go to the track day again, whatever that is. Hopefully this weekend.
So I assume at this point you're running, tire warmers and stands, a generator, or something like that.
Yep. Normally I get a paddock wherever there is one, but if I don't, I got a big stupid generator, and I got just picked up some chicken hawks from STG, some new Brembo brake levers, and what is it? The whole piston, the Brembo piston. Picked them
Master
up.
cylinder
Master cylinder, yes, thank you.
or the caliper, maybe.
No, no, I got new pads. I already got the Brembos on it stock, so they worked out. See, now it came with the dual piston. I don't know what it's called. The bolt that goes in there, your fluid passes through. It came with two holes in it, and my stock one only had one, so I couldn't use the aftermarket two hole. What's that? What's the second hole for?
Like a brake bleeder, maybe. Is that what you're
Maybe.
talking about?
Yeah, it's not the bleeder. It's the bolt that screws in that goes from your line from your front brake up top, and it goes through it, and your fluid passes through that down there. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure why I had the bolt that came with the new master cylinder. It came with a bolt with two holes in it. You know what I mean? Like there should be another line, maybe for like a clutch that's piston. I don't know.
There sometimes have different mounting points. Like some of them are like one cable that goes down to the left side for your brake lines,
Oh,
and this
okay.
maybe snakes over to the other side a different way. So maybe there's different mounting points, or different styles that they can do.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I picked those up. Just picked up a new set of race fairings from Moto XP over in Italy. That was a pain in the ass to get over here.
All that shipping.
Yeah, shipping wise and just the address and trying to talk to somebody who doesn't speak English over the phone is just, but I got everything locked in, ready to go now. And hopefully I got a new lap timer too. I can't remember the name of it. I just went on STG and ordered a crap ton of stuff. Called the dude. I was like, hey, I'm ready for where I need all this stuff. He's like, all right, I got you, and sent it over. And now I'm just piecing it together piece by piece, what time I get home.
Heck yeah, awesome. It just it's all nuts and bolts in the end. It's nothing really difficult or complicated. I think I'm like YouTube certified by now because just look online. If you don't understand something, call a friend. ask a question, go on the forums. It's a really great resource.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I gotta pre-drill all the bolts for it for the new plastics and all that. And I about threw them on this week, and I'm like, why am I gonna do that? And I gotta pull them right back off, paint them. I gotta get a hold of Neil, send him my other sets. That way he can get the mold for it. I'm gonna have him probably at Total Performance Graphics do my wrap on it.
Heck yeah.
So
And
cool.
you know that they also I am now a dealer of Race Bolt.
Okay.
And Race Bolt, you can have these bolts that are already pre-drilled. You don't have to drill them yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some of them.
So it's like I'm gonna buy some myself. We get it from Moto D. Moto D is the importer of them, and I'm a vendor of Moto D Racing. So a lot of the brands that they sell, we also sell those.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check into that because I first race I went and pre-drilled all my own bolts, and then I had to change stuff, and I went to go put the Allen head that goes in there. It doesn't go in there no more. So thankfully, one of the guys at the track, what was his name, Ryan Kramer, he actually has the exact same bike as mine. So he's like, I got these bolts, but you got some money? I'm like, absolutely, dude, I'll buy whatever. He sold my first set of plastics. I just keep on resulting back to the fact of the track love, man. It's insane.
Oh yeah, I
It's
mean,
absolutely
there's been times that I've lent parts like a steering damper to my friend, and he was in the same race as me. And I was like, if I didn't lend him that part, he might have not made the grid. But I want to beat him on the track, not in the pit lane.
right.
So
Absolutely.
it worked out. I think I beat him.
I think I'd be. That's all that matters. So
But yeah, it's just a blast. I love doing it, and want to do it for a long time at a high level. And I want to be able to do this podcast too, and help maybe teach people about it, how to get into the sport, and different tips and tricks, and give back some of the things that I know. I'm like, I wanted to do this podcast for years, but I was too scared to do it because like, how do I start this, And
right.
then at one time I just ripped off the Band-Aid and just started with, local people, my friends and family, and then expanded from there. But I just like talking to people and helping spread the sport and the awareness, and hopefully I sell some stuff along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's helped me so far, man. So keep at it, dude.
For sure.
I'm grateful for you having me too, man. Thank you again.
So what else is on your mind? What's going on in your life?
Oh, honestly, dude, work. I got a kid on the way. He's gonna be here the 30th of this
That's
month.
exciting.
Little baby girl. I bought my son one of those O'Hara bikes, a 110 4-speed. So hopefully, I don't know what age they're allowed on the track at, but he's 8 right now. So I'm gonna get him started in some park lots on that, get him a suit and all that. So
Are you talking
hopefully he can
about
get
the Ovales?
Valleys, yeah, O'Hara, sorry,
And
yeah, Valley.
so you can go to a lot of different kart tracks with those.
Okay.
For example, Pittsburgh in, International Race Complex, the old Beav Run. They have a United States Pro Kart Series track, and I've seen bikes on that before. There's a bunch of them around. Um, so even Jackson Speedway, you could probably go to. Um, there's one in Clio, Michigan, kart track. Well, it's kind of like an old NASCAR track, but we use it for Supermoto. Probably wouldn't be able to do the dirt section, but you can keep it on the pavement there. Um, there's one J&G Kartway I think it's Fremont or Ohio. There's a couple good ones in Ohio. A lot of places to ride, even though it's not a big track in
Right.
the typical sense. But I've been getting out there myself with the Supermoto, and it's a lot of fun. Just learning
Oh,
different skills.
have you been drifting it yet? I see a lot of guys on the Supermotos like, that thing looks insane. It's just basically a dirt bike with street tires, ain't it?
Exactly. So I have a Kawasaki is a 2021 KLX 300 Supermoto. It's a technically 292cc. They call it a 300.
Yeah.
It's got better suspension, but it's pretty much a stock bike. There's almost nothing done to it, just the mirrors, and I have lever guards. They're different, and it's a lot of fun. I'm definitely spinning up the rear tire, pushing things. I mean, I wouldn't say pushing the front in the dirt. That's hard to do, but
All right.
um, it's just learning a whole new discipline, man. It's difficult. And sometimes there's a motocross section that has jumps and whoops and doubles and triples and berms, and then there's a flat track section that's like oval, like eighth of a mile, maybe oval, and then they have the kart track section. So we loop them all together for some of the time, and then it's a blast. It's difficult. It's
Oh, I bet.
you can't get on the gas too hard coming off going onto the pavement because you have dirt on your tires,
Right.
and you just can't have tons of lean angle in the dirt sections anyway, but it's a surprising level of grip, man. It blows my mind, and I'm just learning with it. I don't know what I'm doing in the dirt section yet with the Supermoto with slick tires on, but like my buddy Jeff and Will, they're all sending it like 20, 30-foot gaps and on slick tires. I'm like, that's impressive as they go flying by me in midair. I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't know the bike could do that.
I got a dirt bike, but I ain't doing no. I'm not a fan of the air. Never have been. I did BMX. We had like a BMX track behind my house as kids, and I always cased it on that. So I was like, why would I want to go put an engine on the pedal bike and then case it? No thanks.
Look, I
So
think it's a beneficial thing to be able to do, to have the cojones to do that and to understand your gaps and like how far you can go and like your timing. But I'm not there either. So I'm just learning and trying to, not break my face. And
right.
I'm getting off the ground a little bit, but like I see the pictures, I'm like a foot, maybe 2 feet, and like they're like 20 feet. I'm like, holy crap.
Right. Like when we're at Grant going on the straightaway, you got them guys just hitting them kickers like 60 foot in the air, pointing at. Like, yeah, whatever, have fun.
Yep.
That's
And
wild.
so I was at Granton not long ago, the 28th, going counterclockwise.
I wish
And
I was.
man, there's a couple of times I was going over the jump that the wheelie got a little bit away from me,
Oh,
and it happens real quick. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I saved it, and it was not a huge moment. But like one time, my foot came off the foot peg. I was like, oh man, I wasn't expecting the wheel
right.
to come up 4 feet that time.
Right. See, that's what another thing about that Aprilia, man. It's as awesome of a motorcycle as it is, and I have absolutely no complaints about it whatsoever. Is I'm relying so much on my electronics. That's what sucks. I got the launch control, I got the wheelie control. So my first time ever going over that reverse, I always let off. Everyone says let off, you know. Then Pete Eckert come up to me and he's like, "Hey man, you got that wheelie control." I'm like, "What?" And then Tate comes over and he's like, "Yeah, we got wheelie control here." He hits a couple buttons. Said, "Yeah, there you go. Next time you go over that jump, just hammer it." I looked at him like he was crazy. He's like, "I'm serious. Do it." Okay, explain to me how it works. So sure enough, man, second gear coming over the hill, it picked it up, it held the RPMs, and as soon as the tire set back down, it was full power again. I'm like,
That's a beautiful
holy
thing.
shit, there's a second. There's a second right there. You
And
know?
so, yeah, those things, they do help you out, and it's kind of the wave of the future. But
Right.
I would definitely say you should learn how to do it without a slipper clutch, without full Brembo brakes, like without a great engine.
I need to
Like
go buy me just the 300 or a beat up 600 or something. Just get a feel for it. Cause I feel like I'm getting away from the original riding, as you might call original racing, cause the real guys, they don't use the ABS. They don't use
I've
this.
never had traction control or ABS or wheelie control. I've been racing for like 11 years now.
See, and that's why I've been shutting it off. I've been shutting my ABS off. And everyone's like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "Well, they don't have it, so why do I want it?" Like, yeah, but it's a good thing to have it. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm in the air about it. I obviously don't want to purposely make myself crash, but I also want to be able to jump on something that's like an O2 or O3 doesn't have any of that stuff and be able to still ride like how I ride. I
It's
don't want
not,
to get
yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to have those things. It's just, they are rider aids. Like they do make you less skilled in a way. Like for example, I stopped using cruise control almost completely on my truck because I got in the habit of using it all the time because I would just like, I don't want to speed. I don't want to get caught for speeding. So I'm just going to go a certain speed and then press a button and then I'm not going any faster. And
right.
so, but that makes you less skilled. Like after a while, you're just not going to be as good with the throttle. I
Exactly.
promise. It's just a fact. The less you use something, the less you get good at it, and repetition and your habits, you just get worse. So,
Right.
like even when I'm driving these 6-hour trips, I'm using the throttle the whole time. I'm not using the cruise control because you're going up mountains and hills and also just sorts of different elevation. And
Much more aware of things too. You know what I mean?
you're paying attention to everything that's going on. And I've never had a manual transmission, four-wheeled vehicle, but I would really like to because you can't be texting on your phone, eating crackers or a hamburger, whatever it is, too easily when you're driving a stick shift vehicle, because you got to be paying attention to everything. And it just makes you so much more immersed in it. Now that's going to go away with maybe electric vehicles coming up. You're not going to be shifting. It's going to be like a CVT one gear. So that'll make
No.
it a little bit different, but that's not happening anytime soon that I can see.
I wouldn't want that. I'd seen there was I think it's BMW has or who has an electric bike now. I seen an electric bike over the track.
Quite a
Man, that was
few of them.
this thing.
Energica, maybe Biamola or Biamota. I think Biamola is a helmet brand now. But yeah, they're coming out with them. Zero maybe is another one, but I don't think they're quite there yet. They're coming up. It's like if you do it now, you're an early adopter.
Right.
Um, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. That's the best thing about the motorcycle. I think is just hearing heavy gears. Wah, wah, slap. You gotta hit it, slap it. But and that's another thing too. The auto whip, man. I had no idea what auto whip was. I didn't know you could do that. I was clutching down the straightaway. Everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I'm clutching turns and my tires locking up. They're like, "You're gonna kill somebody. What are you doing?" They're like, so Tate again, come over, hit a couple more buttons, and show me some things. And I'm like, "Oh wow!" And that just is immensely, insanely drop 10 seconds off right there, just auto whip.
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah, because it rev matches for you and it gets helps you come down in the gear a little bit easier.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because I mean, I just switched over to GP shifting too, and that was, I always heard about it, and I went thought it was cool. So like, yeah, well, I get some Woodcraft rear sets real fast. Let's switch over to GP, and I'll be able to. So I was coming in up to the last turn before the bus stop, and I was having to go underneath and click over to grab third gear. You know what I mean? Before I got to the bus stop, now I can just downshift, but I still catch myself all the time just going to upshift or downshift, slamming into lower gear by accident. Like shit.
Yeah, that sucks. It's a little bit of getting used to, and I've used GP Shift for many years, but now I have the Supermoto that's standard again, and the latest race bike that I have in my garage is standard also. So I was at Grattan, I was thinking, I was like, just trying to go back to your natural habits when you're racing. I was like, wait a minute, which way do I have to shift again? I was on the straightaway, like I had to think about it. I was like, oh no, this is not a natural habit anymore. And I was like,
No.
oh, don't screw that up if there's someone right behind you. Man, you take the wrong gear, you could blow
Uh-huh.
up your engine, or have a new friend meeting in the middle of the straightaway.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I just switched over my GP shifting for my last race too, so I was like just super nervous wrecked. Like, oh god, this is terrible. Like catching every corner going to downshift, I was upshifting and vice versa. Oh, this is. I
Yeah.
should go back. I should just go back, but it's
Well, I
worth.
mean, I think GP Shift is better. I wish I had GP Shift on the race bike because Um, it's easier to shift when you're leaned over and shifting up, which is the whole point of doing it. And it's not such a big deal downshifting, going the opposite direction. And
Well, no,
actually,
because when you're coming in your corner though, you're already upright, you're already downshift, you're getting your gears, and you're getting where you're at. You don't have to do it in the corner. So when
yeah,
you're out of it, that's when you grab more gears, and yeah, world of difference, absolute world difference for me.
I think I need to adjust the pressure on that on mine because my left calf was starting to get sore from having like stomp down to make all
Right.
my downshifts. I was like, I'm actually starting to cramp up in my calf right now from just downshifting so hard. And like I'm not used to these electronics on the bike either, having clutchless downshifts, and I've never done that. That's the first couple times I've done that, so it's a little different. And I feel like I could make my downshifts faster if I didn't have to use the electronics. So maybe you have to shorten some of the cut time or something. I got to look into it a little bit more, but I feel like I can make my downshifts faster if I were to use the clutch, but it's got the electronics to not need it.
Right.
So maybe I'm not resetting my foot to neutral position fast enough. I'm not sure.
Well, just have to figure it out, man. Figure
Just
out the track.
gotta look
That's
at it, mess with it some more, and keep going from there.
Yeah. I haven't done my bike is completely bone stock right now, mechanical wise. I mean, obviously I got gadgets and gadgets that look cool and stuff, but engine wise, absolutely bone stock. I had Nick. You did a podcast with him, with Nick Suspension. He tuned my bike, tuned it into the T. Like I told him what was going on. Hey, that's what I'm doing. He looked at my tire wear. He's like, all right, let's tighten everything up. I was bottom out my front forks from slamming the brakes so hard. He maxed them out, set my back for me, and it's just been absolute flawless since. I
Awesome.
know with every track you go through, though, you're gonna have to change your suspension, I assume, though, right? Because it's gonna be different track, different styles, different everything. So now, if I could just pay Nick to cart around with me, he's like, "Dude, I'll just teach you how to do it." I say, "I know, but in a hurry, it's a lot better if you just click for me real fast."
Yeah, it's always good to have a suspension guy in your corner, who's on the team and maybe at the event, or at least someone you can call on the phone at an event. I've done that before. Um, and someone you can ask, hey, the bike is doing this. What should I do? Which knob do I need to turn?
Right.
To talk to, a veteran or somebody is extremely valuable. And sometimes Yeah, I was never a guy who was changing suspension settings for every track. Even with all the racing I did, I was like, the bike's fine. It's me. I need to ride the
Right.
bike better. And that was really what I focused on most of my time. Now, there were definitely a few rounds that I had Witchcraft Motorsports, Joe Craft in my corner,
Yep.
and he was turning knobs and things, and that was extremely helpful. I think one time I dropped like a second and a half from just one little moment with Joe. He's like, "Oh yeah, do this," and like went out, dropped so much time. I was like, "That was amazing. I need to
Yeah.
do this more often." So yeah, if you have the means to do it, and you come back to the same track next time, you have a base setting,
Yeah.
and you can even start small with just changing a knob, turning one direction, seeing how it feels better or worse, then changing it back, trying to go the other direction. Like that's really how you do it. It's just another time consuming thing, but it's very valuable if you can get the black magic of it all right and figure it out.
Right. Right. Yeah. He blew my mind when he did it too. He's like, "Oh, okay," and he's asked a couple questions real fast. And he did. Okay, go try that, man. Just Nick, casual
Yep.
as ever. Go try that. And go out there. I come back. I'm like, dude, this is it. Like, you're my guy now. He's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "No, seriously. Like, you're gonna be here racing." Oh yeah, I'll be here. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good guy, helps out a lot. And I would recommend getting your fork oil changed on a regular basis, depending on how much you're riding. So just like your engine oil degrades,
Right.
same thing with your fork oil. So just getting that refreshed every so often, maybe once a season or every other season, depending on how much you're out there, is very valuable. Not even the settings that are on it, just the oil that's inside.
Okay. I definitely have to get a hold of Joe for that. For sure, because that's what everyone says. Joe Kraft's the guy to go to for our suspension. I had him. He was on his way to Grat, and he was going to meet Brian Kramer there also and stuff. But then I ended
Yep.
up meeting Nick before he got there, and Nick did all of his stuff. But I still went. Hey, I told Kramer I was like, hey, if there's any funds or anything that I need me help pay for him to come here, I got you because I said I would. But he wasn't worried about it or anything. But I hear he's definitely the guy because I asked Nick if he could do the oils and the springs, all that. He's like, no, that's not my thing.
Yeah, you have to be a certified Olin's technician to do that stuff.
Yeah, that's way over my fucking my league.
Yeah,
I
so I've gotten my stuff serviced by Joe a bunch of times, and the first time he's like, "Oh yeah, just bring me your forks." I'm like, "What? I don't know how to do that."
yeah, just that simple, right? Yeah,
Well,
sure.
he does it every day. It's his profession, it's one of his professions, and so it's like call a friend, look it up on YouTube. Like it's just nuts and bolts. It's not that complicated, but you got to have the right stand for it, or you suspend it from the ceiling or a garage or something.
Right.
Um, but it can be done. It's not that difficult.
For sure. Yeah, I'm definitely have to do that because it's an 18, and like I said, ain't nothing been touched except for what I've done to it. I bought it with like 50 miles on it, so it definitely needs like a full flush. I don't know. Everyone says like that's what's hard too is like when you go and you take little bits of information. You ask this person, you ask 10 people the same question, you get 10 different answers. So it's like how do you pick and choose? Well, obviously you can go to the fast guys and see what they're running, but then you talk to some other fast guys and they're running a totally different setup and they think they're stupid. So it's like I'm party here. I'm just trying to get some information, guys. So
Yeah,
what I've been doing is just take a little bit from everybody. You know what I mean? Trying a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and seeing what works for me. I feel like that's my best option.
for sure. Because you're gonna get a lot of different answers, and you can even try them all out and see which one works for you, and realize that maybe this style doesn't work for you, or maybe that part or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, because I think our biggest thing, me and my crew, or whatever, is like we still need to set a distinguished time. You know what I mean? Like a set lap time on the track, so we can figure out if it's me or if it's the bike. I've just been progressing so much that I haven't been able to catch that same lap time. Like race time, I was 23s, 24s consistently. You know what I mean? But now I just need to go do a practice day where it's just me out there and I'm not going for anything. And see what I can consistently run. So that way we know whether to tweak the bike or tweak me.
For
But
sure. Um, I'd say fitness is a huge aspect of it. Like I'm noticing that I'm getting tired on the bike, and I could probably ride more consistently if I had stronger legs or maybe my core, like the endurance aspect of it. I haven't been doing as much cycling and running this year. I've been doing more coaching and different things. So with the flagging, so I got excuses, but it's I'm noticing a difference. I used to do 1,000 miles of cycling, and I'm like 10% of that this year.
wow.
So it's noticeable, And I'm also just getting kind of back into riding on the sport bikes and racetrack stuff.
Right.
So just it's a high level of fitness, and you just got to stay with it and get your fitness up so you don't have to worry about your body anymore. You can focus on racing and your racecraft and, suffer in training so the race is easy.
Exactly. Yep. I've been trying to treat it like, I've been a lot of people think I'm like I don't know. I don't know how you say it. Too obsessed with it. Like I am absolutely. It's my passion, my love. So like when I do things, I do it to the absolute max. Like it's do it or die to me. It sounds crazy, but that's how I have it in my mindset. It's not to the T to that, but that's how I'm thinking, so that way I can achieve what I want. So like when I train, like I just do runs and lift weights, like not like powerlifting, but I lift to stay strong but still slim, so that way I'm light for racing. Because I weighed 180 last year and I was running a 150 something or 2 minutes. Now I'm like down to 160. I'm running 122. It's like I know the weight that much of a factor with experience, but it's definitely helping a lot. So I'm trying to stay slim but stay strong because coming into that straightaway at 157 or 170 mile an hour, when you're on your brakes, you're using every muscle in your upper body. So when I come off the track from a race, it's like I'm exhausted, dude. It's only 8 laps, but it's the hardest. It's the hardest 8 laps I've ran all year. You know what I mean? So I definitely hear you on that. Feeling fatigued, what I mean, coming off the track. So I've
For
just been trying
sure.
to push myself beyond what a normal person, what I think when a normal person push themselves for a race. You know what I mean? Like you're riding a motorcycle, you're not running a marathon, but I'm treating it like a marathon or a Spartan race. Like I just want to be prepared for that.
Absolutely. Like if you're a marathon guy or a triathlon guy, think about how much of a benefit that would be to your riding versus the guy who only does, just a little bit of running
Oh,
and biking.
right, exactly. Yeah, like I've never been a runner a day in my life. Like maybe a mile here and there in high school, you know what I mean? But since that last race, I wanted to keep up on it because I felt like I was doing good. So to keep my fatigue, I've been trying to hit like 3 miles a day at least on the running, and then do 2 to 5 miles on the bike, and just do my little light lifting and stuff. But we'll
Nice.
see where it goes.
Yeah, I was a little late signing on today because I was doing a hot yoga session. I've done about 180 or so hot yoga classes, 90 minutes, 105 degrees in there. I saw
Oh.
my heart rate today. It said rest for like 40 hours. Um, I said my heart rate was like 193 or something like that at the peak level. So it's exhausting. I actually got out of the room for 3 minutes today because I was like, I just need to take a break. And it felt like it was hotter than normal. Sometimes it varies a little bit throughout the weather and all that. But
Right.
I think it's great injury prevention. It's the heat acclimation is a big thing. I would suggest any racer, it's always hot, right?
Oh
Unless
yeah.
you're doing
Always.
skiing or something like
Oh
that,
yeah.
like snow skiing. But it's always super hot. Even in car racing, they don't always have air conditioning. You might have a blower or some air coming on you, but it's not always cold air.
No.
Um, and so you're out there, it's super hot. Just I'd huge advocate for being in saunas and heat work. And there's a new place I heard about called something like Hotworks, I think it's called, that they have different training and sauna-like environments. They offered me a free class. I'm probably gonna take it one of these days, check it out. But I used to do like push-ups in the sauna. I think that's great. It feels like you're gonna die in there. It's a
Right.
like the lifetime saunas, I think are 180 degrees, and they
Okay.
recommend only 15 minutes in there. And it's a dry sauna, but wet saunas are good too. I don't do too many of the wet saunas, but the steam, the steam rooms.
Yeah. 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 No, I'd probably rather do a dry one personally.
It's just different. And sometimes they like put some sort of mint or eucalyptus, and it kind of opens up your sinuses, which is interesting. But yeah, it's
That
they
sounds
get
like great conditioning because we're always, as soon as you come off track, first thing you want to do is get out of your suit. You're just like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
and think
All the
about if you're acclimated to all that and you're used to that, it's just another piece of the puzzle that makes it a little bit easier. So you're not sweating as much as the next guy, or maybe you're sweating just as much, but you're used to it. You're like, this is normal. This is nothing. I'm used to 20 degrees hotter than this.
right. Absolutely. Yeah. See, that's I need to get into some of that because I enjoy the hot. I'm allergic to the cold, literally. It's called cold Utica. So you put like ice pack on any part of my skin, I'll break out into a hive. So wintertime is just treacherous for me.
Yeah.
I'm like the Michelin man, all bundled up and stuff.
And you're
But
living in
yeah,
Michigan?
yeah, I know, right? I work outside in the winter all year too. In the winter time. So
Just
that's
gotta
definitely
cover up.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I want to look into then because I feel like that helped me out a lot. Because with anybody naturally, again, in 90+ degree weather, they're gonna fatigue a little bit.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
kicks my ass every time, man. It's never an easy workout, and it's not like you're doing jumping jacks. You're just standing in place. There's a lot of balance drills and balance, one-legged standing, and then there's a floor series where you're just stretching and doing different things. But just standing in place, you're drenched full of sweat, and my heart rate's maxed out. So it's really beneficial, I think.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm
So.
definitely.
Yeah, that's about an hour and 40 minutes. Is there anything else on your mind you want to talk about? Where can people find you out there online?
I think I'm pretty good, man. I'm pleased with what we talked about. Just hope to see you on the track, man. Hopefully see me go places.
For sure. So do you have Instagram? What's your Instagram name?
Yeah, I got Nick or Nothing on Instagram, and then Nick Konsella on Facebook. I don't do much Snapchat with people I don't know, so well, let's keep it Instagram mainly.
And what about YouTube? Are you a video creator? Do you record your sessions or racing?
Not yet. No, I haven't. I'm not really into that. I literally just bought myself a Mac Pro, so I'm starting to get into the more trying social media. I do a lot of Instagram videos, like make cool little videos and stuff. Me and the buddies ride and stuff. But that's definitely something I feel like I need to get into more, so that way I get more people seeing me and probably help out my racing career
Yeah,
for sure.
not a bad idea. So I'll get this edited and posted in the next week or two here, and I'll be sure to tag you in it. I still have a few more podcasts to get to before I get to yours. I'm gonna see.
Man.
Let's see. So I just released, I think, number 110 with Jeff O'Barry. It's the second time we talked. He's a good friend of mine. 111, Sophia Oberlander will be coming out after that. Then we got Chandler Slagle, a Moto America guy. Wesley Lakis. He's another Moto America guy, Twins Cup. And then we got Nick Konsella, 114, coming up after that. So it should be probably close to a month, 3 weeks to a month, I think. But I'm trying to keep them now staggered a week in advance. So I got a couple in the queue, which is nice. I'm not always scrambling to get one recorded because I got a few. If someone cancels, it's not a big deal.
Right, right.
I already have a few ready to go. So
That's all.
thanks again for talking. I'm sure I'll see you at the racetrack real soon. Maybe Gingerman.
Absolutely. Sounds good, boss. Take care, man. Thank you
All right.
again.
Thanks. Have a good one.